Welcome to part number 17, and I gotta say I'm excited about the car, but I'm excited about being clean. In other words, I'm not filthy 5 minutes into working on the car. But right now, I'm gonna do some clean stuff. And everything here is what I've been waiting for. So before we get into this, I'm gonna answer the number one question that I get from everybody at some point or another. Why did I paint the Ferrari before I did all this work? In a normal world, absolutely, ass backwards, no question about it. But the reason for it is two words: the pandemic. When the pandemic first hit, a year and a half ago, everything stopped. The whole world stopped, and then we slowly figured out which businesses were essential, which businesses were not essential. Fortunately, automotive was considered essential in most jurisdictions, and we were allowed to reopen and function. But that functioning was not anywhere near what we would call normal. Everything was slow. Body shops were slow. Mechanical was slow. People weren't driving. So the decision was made to take the car to Lawrence during this period. He was open. He was helping me out with his paint job. And not just a buddy, oh, I'll take care of you when I get a chance, but truly a buddy to buddy. I'm going to help you because we have a relationship where we help each other. I've taken hits for him. He takes hits for me. This is a Ferrari. It takes a ton of time to do what he did. Saddling him with that task during a busy period, it costs. It costs to truly help your buddy out. And I didn't want to give him this car during a period where he was trying to produce really, really profitable work. So the decision was made to bring it to him during a period where he could putter away at it, do his good paying work, put my car aside, and then when time permitted, do my car. And he kind of had a lot of time on his hands because everything was so slow. The cost was minimized to his timetable because he wasn't pushing aside good paying work to help your buddy work. And that's the simple answer. Had I had the opportunity to do it over again, obviously it wouldn't have gone down that way, but that's just what happened. And now I'm dealing with it in the aftermath, and I'm just being more careful, and it's as simple as that. And yes, I get to spend more time, paying strict attention to it, and so far I'm doing really well, but it's done, and I can move on with my life. Anyways, let's get into this.
Just as a refresher, in case you didn't watch an earlier episode, these are QA1s, a popular aftermarket performance coil-over assembly.
Alrighty, so these are the front assemblies, these are the rear assemblies. For the fronts, we have to change over the upper shock mount to this unit here to give us this extended path here, to give us clearance there. That's clearance. Victor.
We have clearance, Clarence. Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
I have to take that bushing out of these two upper mounts and push them into these ones. We're going to leave the fronts for a little bit later. I'm going to orientate myself to the process using the rears because I think it's going to be a bit easier. All these factory bushings are going to go in the pile to be never used pile. I'm going to throw those over there. And we're going to start with the rears. So the instructions say to take the upper mount off. 7/8 wrench and a 5/8 wrench, but this picture is also showing it with the bushing out of it. So I can't get a 5/8 wrench in there, so I'm going to try and do this without removing this top. I've checked to make sure that's tight. It seems to be tight. And now I'm going to first off thread this down. Start threading that down. Okay, so I don't think it's going to be this low. But I'm just going to put some here. I will most definitely add more later. I just want to get some in there right now. Okay. That says to lubricate that. Place downward. That goes there. Then Our spring goes on. Then the last piece of the puzzle is to put this in here. Now, I could almost do that by hand. Maybe if I send this down a bit more. Okay. And now, okay. Fairly simple so far. Once I know exactly where they're going to be riding, I will lubricate them much more generously than what I'm doing right now. And I'm just trying to read the instructions and follow the rules, that's all, folks.
So I will not be using the sleeves that came with the QA1s. I will be using the kit from unobtainium parts. This kit is what allows you to adapt these QA1 shocks to the Ferrari. Yay! With a little lubrication, I can almost push these sleeves in, but not quite. So I'm just going to use a little clamp that I got kicking around just to give me a little bit of a push.
You know, I'm trying to do this so you can see it's actually fairly difficult.
Alright, so the backs are done. Let's move on to the fronts.
The fronts are going to be a tad bit different because I need this urethane bushing. And I got a makeup tool. Let me tell you, trying to get this little damn piece of urethane rubber thingamajobber out was a real pain. I tried, and I tried, and I kept playing, and I tried, until finally I got the right combination of pushing here and holding there and pressure there, and then finally I managed to pop this damn thing out.
That was a pain.
And of course, once I had the technique down, the other side took me about 3 minutes.
Who's got the red thread locker?
As I mentioned earlier, I have to take off the upper mounts that came on the QA1s, the ones that came with them. I have to throw them out, and I have to put on my new upper mounts from unobtainium parts. Man, say that 5 times fast. The tape is just to protect the aluminum so I don't mark it while I'm pushing these new bushings in. Once again, I fussed with these for quite a bit. I eventually realized that my tool would come in handy again to hold the bushing from pushing into all sorts of weird directions. I finally got it.
Wow, only a Canadian knows how it manages to go from minus 20 degrees Celsius to plus 35 in a matter of a week, and it's what's happened. It's gone from freezing cold for me wearing sweaters to this incredible heat wave we're having right now.
So how do you know if Terry's in a good mood? Well, he serenades everybody, like he's doing right now. I am also fully aware that I have a mild case of summer teeth. You know, some are here, some are there. But I like them and I want to keep them. So I'm not going to use the $19.99 auto parts store spring compressor special. Especially when I've got the Ronco 1000 spring compressor at my disposal. Did I say Ronco? I meant Robo. After fussing with the big boy machine for a bit, I realized the shock just wasn't gonna clear. But don't you worry, I still don't have to resort to that bottom feeder tool. I got another decent spring compressor right here. Surprisingly enough, the tool worked perfectly. Like it was made for it and I was done in a few minutes.
Well, apparently my battery died halfway through putting those springs in, but I have made the discovery that there's two different thickness washers, and I didn't see that in the instructions anywhere. I got one washer that is just about 1 millimeter thick, and this other washer is about 1.5 millimeters thick. So I'm going to go back to the rears, and I'm just going to exchange the thinner ones for the thicker ones. They seem to work better. They're tighter in there, and they're nice and tight there. But I'll do that off camera because you've already seen it. Made some good progress this morning. I've got all these coilovers ready to go in the car. Once again, I'm not doing the fronts. I'm just going to put the rears in, but I've got all these parts on the bench behind me that I'm looking to get off the bench and get back on the car. I got a couple more things to do. I want to retap the holes, the wheel stud holes in the hubs. And I'm going to do that here right now, and then I'm going to start putting stuff on the car. So I know this is a 14 mil by 1.5. Now the question is, do I have it? No. Not in here. Okay. Gotta go looking somewhere else.
Oddly enough, I found one at my neighbor's shop. His name is Peter. It's a funny story because he borrows stuff from me every day. He borrows thousands of dollars worth of equipment, my AC machine, my spring compressor, everything. And I swear, the moment I borrow anything from him, even a $20 little tap, he thinks we're even.
That's a lot of shims back there. Oh, I put it in backwards. That goes like that. So sorry. That goes like that. There's like 5 shims on this side and 1 on that side, and I suspect there's something wrong. I think I'll probably have to move these a little later on, but I'll do that at the alignment stage. For now, it's okay. That's where they came out. That's where they're going back in. All right, so now I just got to remember how all these bushings go back together. I've got all these little bits and pieces here. And if I remember correctly, these go here. These go on the outside like this. Then there's a little hole here and a little hole there. Maybe you can see that right there. Little thing goes there. that. There. And then this goes like this. See, that goes over it. And that goes over it like that. Okay, my bolt is there. I'm ready.
And the 2/3 of the time spent fussing around with cameras, video.
Alright, so I just had to go watch part 13 again because I almost put the wrong knuckle on the wrong side. I couldn't remember which side was which, so like I said, I use my own videos for my reassembly instructions. But here we go.
This went together fairly smoothly, but I was so eager to put it back together I forgot to grease my bolts, so let's take them back out again and throw some grease on them. And the moment I've been waiting for, and you know what, I'm pretty sure you've been waiting for it too, but let's put the new QA1 in.
I think I must get my 10,000 steps in walking back and forth to my toolbox. I get lazy, I got to use the wrong tool and use the wrong tool, and eventually I go get the right tool. Okay, so I've got my control arms in, I've got my new coilovers in. This wiring's got to go back up here. These coils are getting replaced at some point, so that's why I just keep moving them aside. Anyways, I am firmly aware that I'm not supposed to tighten these bushings yet. So you don't need to tell me. I am perfectly aware. They're all just finger tight. Once there's weight sitting on the car and the suspension moves up a bit, then I will tighten them, just so that I don't bind that bushing in the wrong spot. So we want them tightened in the natural ride position. You don't need to tell me, because I know there's some person at home who's just dying to tell me, but that's okay. Anyways, I should have put that the other way. I'm gonna go double check this right here, because I think this is facing the wrong way. I'm gonna go look online, because it won't hit that way, it won't fit that way, so I'm gonna go double check that before I move on to that side, because I don't want to have to redo it twice. But I don't mind saying that is looking pretty damn good.
As all you smart viewers can tell by the shirt change, it's the next day, and I've now moved on to the passenger side. And guess what? The work I did yesterday and what I'm doing today, I've stayed fairly clean. Despite the humidity and the sweat, I'm not covered in dirt that's sticking to me. Ugh. So what's happening is this little bushing right here is sticking out a little bit too far for that to get in, so I'm just gonna knock that way a bit. Maybe I'll try it from the top first and see if it works a bit better. Alright, so I have confirmed the orientation of this little piece right here, the adjuster. If I put it this way with it facing me, then it won't fit in the hole. It bumps up against the knuckle. So yes, I do have to turn it this way, and then that will be facing there, which is the only way it will go. Alright, so let's get this in here first. I'm really happy with the way all this turned out. It looks fantastic. Anyways, that's it for part number 17. Part number 18 is I'm waiting for the missing one emergency brake. It's coming. I'm missing the flex lines here. So part number 18 is going to be me putting the rear sway bar back on, changing all the bushings in the sway bar links, putting all the emergency brakes back in, the cables back in, putting all the calipers back on and everything. I'm not doing the plumbing yet. I'm going to leave the plumbing till I'm done the front. But that's what you can expect in part number 18. Thanks for watching, thanks for liking, and I'll see you in a bit. Oh, I'm stuck. Oh. I keep getting stuck right there. Alright, there we go.